It's Amanda with UnHinged, a magazine. And okay, so not only has this been in my top 10 of most excited interviews, but this is also the youngest I've ever interviewed. So Jack Barksdale is here with us today, and he's been called a musical phenomenon, a Texas force, a singer-songwriter beyond his years, and it goes on and on. He's 12 years old, and he's a singer-songwriter from Texas, and he's inspired by folk, rock, and blues legends. So this musical prodigy started performing original music at the age of 9 and has already shared the stage with Ray Wylie Hubbard, Bruce Robison, John Fullbright, Hayes Carll. Jack, I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure when I was 9, I was still making mud pies and picking boogers. So, I mean, you're amazing. I actually interviewed another Texan just the other week. Have you ever heard of Monty Warden?
I've heard the name, yes.
Yeah, he's very old school. He was with the Wagoneers back in the day.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes, he wrote a song with Bruce Robison.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, my mom has been following, my mom and my dad have always gone to Bruce Robison and Kelly Willis concerts, so I've been going to their shows all my life.
Perfect. So tell us exactly what instruments you play.
Well, I play a little bit of a lot of things. Of course, I play guitar. I play harmonica, mandolin, ukulele. I've been trying to teach myself a little bit of piano. I can play the bass if I need to.
If you need to.
If I need to. So there's this place I play called the Greenwood Saloon, and the owners went to Ireland, and they brought me back a gift. It's a little penny whistle.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm trying to teach myself how to play the penny whistle a little bit, and
yeah. And you do like the sliding guitar, the steel guitar, or whatever, too,
oh,
right?
Yeah, I can play like the dobro and all that. Yeah.
That is crazy.
Got a slide here.
Yes, that is insane. So, how did you get into singing and songwriting? Was it just something you felt, or did it like get suggested or taught to you? Did you just tag along with your parents to concerts and was like, hey, I can do this?
Again, my parents they've always really loved music and always gone to concerts with us, and so I was always around music, but my parents never played music. They don't know how they don't play music or sing. So when I was about 4, I got a little toy guitar for Christmas, and I strummed it, and it sounded terrible. And so I just thought it would be really cool to be able to pick up a guitar and just know how to play something on it. And so I asked my parents for guitar lessons, but my hands were too small. So when I was 7, I finally got guitar lessons because my hands were big enough. So yeah, I got guitar lessons, and it was really fun, and I just kept doing it.
So I've seen that throughout your videos and such, you've got many guitars that you play with. How many do you actually have? And what's your favorite?
Well, I probably have somewhere around 11 or 12, maybe 13 guitars. And I really love all of them, but I've got a really nice Seagull parlor-sized guitar, and that's the one I play at all my shows. But recently, I got this new one, It's an Art in Lieu 3. It's really pretty. It's an indigo burst.
It is gorgeous. Yeah.
You can see it better on the back. Oh, you can see the computer.
Yeah, it's glossy.
And so it's really pretty, and but it sounds amazing. And so yeah, I really like this one. But I also recently got a Stella guitar, which I've actually got back here as well. It's a 1950s. It's a 1950s Stella, and it's really cool. And I tune it down a whole step so that it sounds really low and dark. So those are my 3 favorites right now. It's hard to pick.
Absolutely. So give me some of the bands and artists that you just absolutely love. What influences you?
Well, like you said, Johnny Cash. I've actually got a whole wall of Johnny Cash posters just over there. You can't see it, but yeah, I've got, so I the first person that I really just hardcore really got into was Johnny Cash. And so every time we went into a record store, I would come out with maybe 2 or 3 more Johnny Cash records.
I hear that train coming, it's rolling around the bend. I ain't seen sunshine since I don't know when I'm starting to fall to prison. Time keeps dragging on. That train keeps rolling all down the standing zone.
And so I have about like 50 Johnny Cash albums now, and I just accumulated them. And then after that, I really got into like the songwriters like Townes Van Zandt and Guy Clark. And then I really got into the blues. I think the reason why I like the really old blues, like the 20s and 30s blues, is because that's what I first was introduced to. The first blues artist I ever listened to was Leadbelly.
There is a house in New Orleans. They call the rising sun. It's been the run of a many poker and the old broad for one.
Which was like 20s to 40s. And so I love Leadbelly and Blind Boy Fuller. And then recently I've gotten into like Leonard Cohen and some more songwriters, so yeah.
So where do you find the time to do all of this? Are you homeschooled? You must have like crazy supportive parents.
Yeah, so I'm homeschooled. We actually started homeschooling before I did music because we wanted to travel more.
Yes.
And so we can take all the books in the car, and I can do school in the car or at the hotels. And so I end up getting a lot more school done than I would in actual school. So yeah, so we homeschool, and that's really good for the music because you get to choose your breaks. Yeah.
So when you were growing up, and I say that lightly for obvious reasons because you're still growing up, but when you were younger, we know everyone always asks, what do you want to be when you grow up? So has yours always been singer-songwriter? Did you have like some response beforehand, like, oh, I'm going to be an astronaut or something?
Well, my mom has always been a basketball fan, so I used to think I would be a basketball player. But then every time I thought about what I might want to be, for some reason I always saw myself playing music on a stage. in the back of my mind, I just always saw that for some reason, which is kind of weird because I wasn't even thinking about that at the time, but I just always saw myself doing that, which is kind of weird.
If you could perform with anyone right now, who would it be? Dead or alive? Because I'm still digging your Johnny Cash cover. So dead or alive, who could you perform with right now?
Either Townes Van Zandt or Blind Gary Davis.
You had me in tears at your song, and I'm like, legit, I was crying. Your song, My Mother. So I know the backstory to it, but tell the viewers that might not know, when and why did you write this song? And I'm gonna have to plug it in because it got me. But tell us about that one.
Yeah, so I wrote that. Well, my mom had cancer when I was maybe 5. I don't know how old I was, but my mom had cancer, and I didn't really know what was going on. I just knew that she wasn't there, and so I wrote the song "My Mother" about that a couple years, maybe 3 years after it happened.
Why can't I hear my mother anymore? When I knock, no one answers the door. The door stays closed, no one says come in. Wish I could see my mother again.
Do you have a weird or useless talent?
I spin plates sometimes. It's pretty fun.
Like on your fingers?
No, like with the stick, like they do in the circus.
That's a thing?
Yeah, but there's like a special kind of plate that has yeah, it's pretty cool. And you spin plates on the stick. You get it spinning.
With all this pandemic stuff going on, have you found any good shows on TV to binge watch?
Well, the ones that everyone has pretty much, Tiger King. Of course, that was crazy. And apparently now there are some updates, like Carol Baskin's taken over Joe Exotic Zoo.
Tell us what the future holds for Jack Barksdale. What are you working on? Any tours coming up? Any albums coming out? What's happening?
Well, I think I'm going to make a new album this year. We were going to do it in April, but that didn't happen, so that got postponed. So I think that we're going to do it sometime this year and maybe release it the winter or next year. But yeah, I'm thinking about making my first full-length studio album. Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. So you have a great night, and hopefully we'll see each other soon when you come on tour.
Yeah, that would be fun.
I've got the blues for days. I've got the blues for days. 'Cause I do